All right, so now we know what private lending is. Now we know how to find private lenders and even some of the things they like to see. And then we learned that it's based off of the deal most of the time, not so much you, even though what you do and how you have your, as we talk about the personal finance portion, your financial credibility does come into play. We know now from Caleb's explanation that we can use private lending, how to find private lenders. But Caleb, let me ask you this: as somebody just getting started in real estate, who is, going through these courses, understanding, learning, and starting to be in a community that is full of financially like-minded people, they're becoming more comfortable, but they still are coming out of a position where they've been maybe financially vulnerable, and a fear of being taken advantage of by somebody who has more intelligence, even in a situation like the stock market where you can't get involved in certain deals unless you're an accredited investor. People are fearful that people who know more about money or have more money than them are just going to take advantage of them. How do I know this person's not going to come up and just take my deal and take all the profits? How do I know that this person is not going to leave me high and dry when it's time to do the deal and I need the money? So how do we know, or what can you give a person as tips or key indicators that they can trust a private lender that they found?
That's a great question. I would say start by getting a good mentor. Personally, we all need mentors in our life. So whether it's somebody in this community you're creating, Mark, or elsewhere, but I would find someone that really you trust, that has your back and does not have a financial interest in you. They're just there just to support you, not trying to make money off you. That I would start there, so you always have a second opinion, especially when you're getting into these deals. And obviously, this course in itself, what you're offering here, is tremendously valuable. This in itself is an incredible second opinion to compare what you're learning in this course. Right? Does it match up with this proven success advice in this course as a starting point? But have people that got your back regardless of the deal, regardless of the profit, and you can find that through those communities of other like-minded investors. I would say the way that you structure the deal, so you're probably going to have less risk with a borrowing money as a loan versus doing a joint venture where the investor is owning the property with you, or maybe they own a portion of the LLC that the property is held within. That gets a lot more complicated and probably not a good starting point for you. So I'd probably start with saying, okay, Caleb, as the investor, I own this property in my name or my company's name, and I'm simply borrowing money from Joe, the investor over there. That way, Joe doesn't have any operating ability to dictate how I use the real estate. He can't sign on behalf of it. He's simply providing the capital. That in itself is going to be a shield that you have control over the real estate, and you're just using his money around that agreement. Working through a private real estate broker is going to help also lower your risk. So if you work with an independent mortgage broker or private money broker, where their job, this broker, is to do the paperwork, work with the telecompanies, connect the investor in your deal, you're going to have their whole process of paperwork and deal flow already protecting it for you. Sorry, working from home. You were
Hey,
down in the
everybody, that's awesome.
and so that's really going to be a process versus you going directly to an individual investor and you're trying to do the paperwork on your own with a title company. Probably you're in over your head and probably not structured appropriately. So I'd probably work with an independent broker, get a mentor, get a second opinion.
And you have multiple eyes on the transaction as well. So you're not just out there. That's something that we really try and teach here, even in other situations like buying a house for as a homeowner or getting a car loan or something like that. The whole purpose of this financial education is so that when you deal with people, you're not reliant upon the seller to explain to you how good the deal they're selling you is.
Yeah, for sure.
That's something that people learn all the time. It's like you have to be able to, like you said, vet the information yourself while you're listening to what they're saying. And I always tell people, when you have this kind of information like we're giving here, don't say everything you know. Listen for what they're leaving out that they should have told you when they were assuming your ignorance. I remember when I first was getting into real estate and kind of going to real estate investing meetings. Um, I didn't realize till after I had got more education that when I would go back to the same meetings and talk to kind of some of the people that had talked to me in my earlier days of real estate investing, that they were deliberately leaving out pieces of information when I was asking questions so they could kind of gauge where I was because they knew more than I knew. So like you said, having multiple eyes and a mentor, you want to say something?
No, it's great. I agree. Yeah.
You got to be able to like know what they're supposed to tell you so that when you hear what they're telling you, you can really gauge if you're getting the full truth and all the information. So thank you. Like you said, have a mentor, go through a brokerage, which also puts multiple eyes on it. But then, like you said, what was really cool was making sure you manage that ownership control. And some people can kind of relate from maybe watching Shark Tank or something like that, right? When the sharks
Yeah.
give an offer to somebody, sometimes they say, I'll give you this much money and I want this much percentage in the business, which is the control. So like you were saying, when you have the LLC and you joint venture on the business, or you joint venture signing for the house, that person has signing ability or decision-making power that now you either have to negotiate with them or that supersedes your own because they know more and they know the contracts and they know the documents. So having a mentor to read the documents, having a mentor to monitor your relationship with that person, like you said, makes all the difference. So it almost helps you not have to wonder so much if you can trust this person, but you can trust your team and you can trust what you have around you to help you be successful. So thank you for explaining that.
You bet.